Help me with this one, because we've all struggled with this labour market report this morning. How would you characterise the state of the labour market right now, Secretary Walsh, in the United States?
I would say if you look at what's happened since President Biden's taken office, he's dropped 2 points off the unemployment numbers. I'd say we have a strong market moving forward. Obviously, we have job openings that we have to work on, and we still have people out of work. And we, as you mentioned in the words before I came on here, we're still dealing with the coronavirus. We're looking at the new variant now to see what impacts that'll have. But overall, we feel good. I feel good about where we're going as an economy here. Obviously, you brought inflation up as well. You know, the president made some moves this week with the oil reserves and also, you know, creating an economic plan. We're seeing people with more opportunities and more money in their bank accounts than this time last year, or pre-pandemic, I guess I should say. So, you know, we still have work to do. There's no question about it, but I feel good where we're headed.
Let's talk about that work and the work we still need to do. As you know, we talked a lot about where wages are, close to 5%, below where inflation is currently, and going into next week, I believe a lot of people in this economy, in this market on Wall Street, Secretary Walsh, looking for something closer to 7 on CPI. Do you still see the benefits of running this economy hot, Secretary Walsh? Are there benefits to doing that, as you see things?
Well, you know, one of the things I just want to talk. This week I went out to Los Angeles. I was out at the ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach. And when you think about the economy, you think about people coming back to work. One of the things when I was out there, you know, we have the Longshoremen working 24/7, not every day, but the ability to work 24/7. We're seeing the ships come in. We're seeing the ships unloaded. And there's an issue with truck driving. And when you think about this economy and we think about all the different aspects, we have to be more intentional now and focus on certain areas and how do we create better opportunities. So truck driving is one of those areas that we have to create better pathways to bring more people back to work. When you look at this report, you see manufacturing, the numbers are high. You look at transportation, the numbers are high. You look at hospital care and health care, the numbers aren't as high. So we have to start to focus now intentionally in different sectors of the economy to make sure we get people trained up and get people back to work.
So this is not about a broad-based effort to run an economy hot. You think this is about specifically targeting certain sectors? Is that right?
Well, I think we have to target certain sectors now to bring those sectors back. I mean, we look at some of these numbers. Hospitality this month, the numbers are kind of, I don't want to say flat, but we didn't see growth in hospitality. We didn't see growth in construction. We saw growth in the construction sector. We didn't see any growth, actually job loss in the government sector. So we really have to start looking at these different sectors and see what supports they need. And that's quite honestly what in the Build Back Better reconciliation plan the president has put out there. There's I think almost $20 billion in job training, workforce development money that will allow us the opportunity here at the Department of Labor to kind of focus on other sectors to help create and build them up.
The reason I asked this question is because there was a big effort to get us back to where we were before the pandemic, and one measure of that, one metric, was the employment to population ratio, which is back to about 59. Before the pandemic, it was at about 61. And Secretary Walsh, the Federal Reserve, the administration has talked about getting back to where we were. Do you think that's achievable? How dependent do you think this really is on just the virus? Is there something else going on here in this labour market?
Well, yeah, I think we have to. I think we have to be realistic about the labor market and look at what is the future going to look like. I think that the pandemic has changed the way, or at least had conversations about the way the office looks. People working teleworking. We've seen 30%. I think last month, if I get the number correctly, 30% increase in entrepreneurship in this country. So you know, there is an evolution and a change going on to some degree. I think that measuring the way we do our economy back to February of 2020. I don't know if it will look like that when we get beyond the virus, but I definitely think that with the president and the administration staying focused on creating opportunities, 5.8, almost 6 million jobs created since President Biden's taken office, 4.2% unemployment rate today, which is a good number. We obviously want to continue that number going down. We've seen better participation in the black unemployment rate dropped a whole percent. Women unemployment rate 4%. We're starting to see some gains here. Now I think we have to continue to acknowledge there's work to be done.
Do you personally have more work to do in the seat you're in right now, Secretary Walsh?
No question about it. I mean, we have a lot of work to do. We have to work on making sure that we implement the unemployment insurance work that we're doing and kind of reorganizing unemployment insurance, $2 billion. We have an office created, job force, workforce development, training money. I really want to look at changing the way we train workers. I think we want to make sure we're training workers not just for the jobs of today, but the jobs of the future, and thinking about creating more pre-apprentice programs. We have a lot of work to do here at the Department of Labor.
The reason I asked, sir, it's not a personal attack. tag. There was just some news this week that maybe you might be interested in the seat that Charlie Baker might leave empty in the coming year. Do you want to respond to that? Do you want to respond to that, sir?
You put that right over my head. I wasn't even paying attention. As I said, I have a lot of work to do here at the Department of Labor.
Politico says you're weighing the run. Is that true or false?
Well, listen, the governor and myself have a great relationship. We were partners for 6 years in Boston. I was 1 year with Governor Patrick. We did a lot of work. We started the pandemic together. We got the city of Boston, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, at least through the beginning days of the pandemic. And for the last week, I've been out in L.A., Long Beach, all over the country, here in Washington today. So I'll leave it at that.
Should I take a signal from your refusal to answer that direct question?
There's no signal. I love my job here.